Hey everyone, it's Rob. And today, a quick note to let you know how excited the Leading with Genuine Care team and I are to share that our annual Mindfulness Leadership Retreat at the SMC Retreat Center in Red Feather Lakes, Colorado, is officially October 3rd to October 7th of this year. Registration is live, and you can find the link at donothingbook.com. Many of you may not know that I host a leadership retreat each year. Last year, unfortunately, we had to cancel it, so I'm uber excited for this year's event. And without question, this will be an impactful retreat for you. During your stay, you will learn more about meditation, mindfulness, slowing down, unplugging, and looking within from world-renowned meditation and mindfulness teacher Janet Sanchez. You will cultivate greater presence and awareness, which, as you know, is the greatest gift we can offer ourselves and others. You're also going to learn to tap into nature during a mindful hike led by SMC Executive Director Michael Gaynor. Patricia Karpus is going to lead us through a mindful connections exercise right by the fireside. And to top it all off, and this is truly an amazing experience, entrepreneur and tech pioneer Murray Hittery will lead us through his world-renowned mind travel silent hike. Now, all proceeds from the Leading with Genuine Care retreat go to support SMC and to help alleviate the impacts of the pandemic and a devastating fire that they had at their Cameron Peak last year. Okay, so please head on over to donothingbook.com and register for the retreat today. I promise you, you will not regret it. All right, so let's get started with the podcast. You're in for a treat with my guest today, Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. In his approach to teaching meditation, Rinpoche integrates traditional Buddhist practice and philosophy with the current scientific understanding of the mind and mental health, making the practice of meditation relevant and accessible to students around the world. Now, Rinpoche was born in Nepal in 1975 and began to study meditation as a young boy with his father, a well-respected Buddhist teacher. He spent many years of his childhood in strict retreat and completed the traditional Buddhist training in philosophy and psychology. In addition to extensive training in the meditative and philosophical traditions of Tibetan Buddhism, Mingyur Rinpoche has also had a lifelong interest in Western science and psychology, which has led to many fruitful collaborations with neuroscientists and psychologists. Rinpoche is the author of the best-selling book, The Joy of Living: Unlocking the Secret and Science of Happiness. Other books include Joyful Wisdom, Embracing Change and Finding Freedom, Turning Confusion into Clarity, a guide to the foundational practices of Tibetan Buddhism, and In Love with the World, a monk's journey through the Bardos of living and dying. Okay, everyone, you are really going to enjoy my chat today with Mingyur Rinpoche. Rinpoche, thank you for joining me today. I'm so grateful to see you.
Most welcome, and thank you.
Absolutely. I thought we could start today's conversation with a quote, and it goes like this, quote, "All happiness in the world is born of wishing others happiness. All suffering in the world is born of wanting happiness for yourself. And that is from the way of the Bodhisattva." And I'm wondering, what comes to your mind when you hear this?
Yeah, I learned that text, The Way of Bodhisattva, when I was young. So first time when I hear this quote, I thought, this is not realistic, All the happiness comes from helping others, and all the problem is considering the self-gain. But actually later, I more understand that self and others are interdependent. So actually, if you want to care about other, that means you care about yourself too. So you are caring whole of you, because other is also part of you. So if you try to harm to others, it's like my teacher said, it's like you try to, make massage to one side and try to hit the other side of hand. But both is your hand. Mm-hmm. So I think this is kind of really helped me a lot to connect with other people.
Mm. I sort of along that topic, what does it mean to love oneself and then to love others?
So we have this practice, step-by-step practice, like in this text, the way of Bodhisattva. The first, we should understand about our own feeling. So we all want to be happy, don't want to suffer. And that is our fundamental feeling. And why we have that? Actually, we are worthy to be happy. And we have this basic innate goodness. So basic innate goodness meaning our fundamental nature is wonderful. Sometimes what we call the original purity, our enlightened nature, our potential. So that is good. So in the text, what we call one of the signs that our true nature is good is we are looking for happiness. So our true nature has the lasting happiness, the real happiness is within us. So therefore, we don't want to suffer. So that feeling is kind of like homesick. But normally we are not connected with our own heart, our own feeling. We are too much in the head and jumping between past and future. So the first important is we have to understand ourselves, to go back to our feeling, go back to our heart. And basically, I'm looking for happiness for 24 hours. So then you can expand this to others. You can understand everybody's like that. Everybody under the skin, same. We all want to be happy and don't want to suffer. And at the same time, we have great nature. Our fundamental nature is quite good. But normally we don't see that. What we call, if we have 10 qualities, 1 negative, 9 positive. What we see is only negative 1, and we exaggerate that negative, and we deny the 9 positive things within us. Mm. So therefore, to understand self and wish you want to be happy, and you also wish that you have happiness, and the causes of happiness is self-love. And then understand that to others, expand others also have happiness and the causes of happiness. And that is love and compassion for others.
Can you talk about being described as the happiest man in the world? And are you?
I think this is just people make kind of nickname. My teacher is the more happier than me.
You when that came out, that was because you went through some studies, I believe, at the University of Wisconsin in the United States, where they put some things on your head and studied what was happening in your mind. What was that like?
Yeah, so it was the beginning in 2002. Then almost every year I went there to continue to do different research. So at first time, I never see the fMRI, not just normal MRI. fMRI is huge, almost like one floor. But inside is very cold, and there's a tunnel. And then I have to lie down on tunnel like corpse, I cannot move my head. So there's a lot of, pillars and things to put around, and I have to chew on something. and then go inside the tunnel and a lot of noise. And I have earphone. And in fact, while I'm meditating, the scientists send a lot of noise, a baby crying and screaming. And I have small screen. There's some kind of like operation, bloods, all this, try to distract my meditation.
Fascinating. I'm curious, what were you like growing up?
I was grew up in the middle of the Himalayan mountain called Manasilu. It's the 8th highest mountain in the world. Now it's in Nepal. So my life in general is wonderful. I have nice parents and grandpa, grandma also, and very good environment. So I was very happy. But there's one problem is normally I talk about that is I had panic attacks. So I developed panic attacks when I was 8, 9 years old. And that was the really suffer, not so happy. And that's the reason that I met meditation. So why now I'm talking about meditation here because of that panic.
Mm-hmm. Many people have panic attacks. There's a lot of stress and anxiety all over the world. To hear that you had it in what sounds like a very warm upbringing with wonderful people around you, how does that happen? And how was meditation useful for you?
I don't know. The first time that when exactly the developed panic with me, it's kind of a gradual process. I think I already had panic when I was 8, but then I strongly felt it when I was 9 years old. And that time, there's the main reason the panic is about the natural kind of like disasters, like we have snowstorm in the winter, I really don't like. And we have thunderstorm in the summer and heavy rain. And I don't like strangers. Then I cannot sleep well in the night, tight around my neck, and my heart really speed up. And then there's all this not nice image will come, the voices. So I discussed this with my mom. My mom is like my friend. And she said, oh, you should learn meditation from your father. But I'm kind of afraid to ask him that maybe he will not accept me. He's very kind, but I just thinking that maybe because of my panic, I think, oh, he will not accept. And he said, you're too young to learn meditation. So I embrace about that. Then one day my father said, oh, you want to learn meditation, right? I said, yeah, how do you know? Your mom told me. He said, so normally I'm saying that my mom asked my father without my permission.
That's a good mom.
He was so happy and he taught me meditation. And he said, no matter what happened in our mind, our fundamental nature is like sky in the mountain. We have very nice blue sky. And the panic is like storm in the sky. So no matter how big storm comes in the sky, the nature of sky cannot be changed, cannot be polluted by those storms. So he said, important is we need to connect with our inner sky. So how to connect that? Through awareness, love and compassion, and the wisdom.
And your father was a great meditation master. Is that correct?
Yes, he's a very meditation teacher in the Nyingma and Kagyu lineage of the Tibetan tradition. So,
Can you talk about the wandering retreat that you did for 4 years?
Yeah, so wandering retreat, there is a style called wandering retreat, which is you left everything behind and just go on the street by yourself. So when I was young, my mother used to read those life stories of the wandering yogis in the Tibet. There's one very famous called Milarewa. So during the evening, we all get together around the fire because in the Himalayan mountains, very cold. So big fire, and then we drink soup. And after having soup, hot, warm soup, then my mother used to read those stories one by one. So sometime Mileraba, sometime other. And sometimes my grandmother will cry, and then I cry, and my mother also cry. In the end, three of us cry. So there's a lot of impact from that in my mind. And I always want to do that. And actually, I learned the meditation when I went to retreat for 3 years when I was 13. And after that, I went through all the traditional studies. Although, and then I went to abroad, many places around the world, and I taught meditation. And I have many students and also many monasteries in Bodh Gaya, in Nepal. I have in Tibet, so I'm become abbot. I'm become meditation teacher. I wrote book, I become bestseller. So there's some kind of pride, you know. So I was thinking maybe I will, you know, go beyond of my circle, cocoon, explore, and to really learn about the life and the meditation, because until then I was what I call Dharma prince. So wherever I go, oh, no meditation teacher, you know, and I have a lot of students and they all care me. I never went out myself alone. So then I really decided in 2011, left my monastery and went wandering retreat. So at the beginning was very difficult. First month, I almost died from the maybe food poison at the street in India. But actually, that was one of the most happy time in my life.
I have a few questions about that retreat, that wandering retreat. My first question is, since you were somewhat well known, did anybody recognize you?
At time to time, people recognize me, and I kind of sneak. They because I grow beard and hair. Is that Mingyur Rinpoche? But in Lapchi is in Nepal, in the Himalayan mountain, where the Miller was a cave, very famous cave there, Lapchi cave. I was there, and that area is very small, and you cannot run. So there's some people recognize me, and then they give me a lot of food and help.
Were you scared to go, to get out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, at the beginning, I remember the first day when I come out of my monastery main gate, big gap, you know, mine almost like peel your skin or something. Although I don't feel at that moment really bad, but completely, you know, beyond concept.
Did you plan on doing it for 4 years, or how did you know when you would stop the wandering retreat?
I was thinking 3 years to 10 years. I want to do 3 years, then see. But then I reached around 4.5 years, then got a lot of strong earthquake came. Nepal and India, and many people die, and my family and my student and all the monks, nuns, there are a lot of suffer. I kind of knew that. Then I came back.
When you were ill and you almost died, what was that like?
So at the beginning, I had a lot of diarrhea, vomiting, especially in the night. And there's pump the well water. So I can do like this and get water, drink a lot of water. And after 4-5 days later, then I cannot do anything. Entire my body lose function. I cannot move. I thought, one day before that, I thought, what should I do? Should I go back to monastery? Because it's just first month, or just follow the flow of the situation. Then in the end, I decided just follow flow of the situation. So in between that, should I go back or stay like that? There's a lot of nervous and panic came for a few hours. Once I decided, then no problem. So then in the evening, next day, I cannot see, I cannot hear, I cannot move, but my mind becomes so calm and really beyond concept. So we have this meditation practice, death and dying meditation, and there is some kind of explanation about stage. When you die, the first stage will happen like that, second stage will happen like that. All this came to me. I thought I'm going to die actually. And I experienced all the what we call dissolution of element, the falling, floating, disappear. And then the sixth sense doesn't work. Even the thought, when we think about apple, there's an image of apple comes, that also gone. But then behind there's a consciousness without the thought, without concept. There's no front, back, no up, down, no past, future. It's really interesting. But I know what's happening, but cannot really describe into word. It's almost like when you go into the mountain, you see the huge lake, right? Crystal, very clear, pristine lake. In the lake can reflect the entire mountain, valley, house, everything. So mind become like that. Normally, when we think, our mind go to the object, but now everything appear in the mind. So I was in that kind of like situation, that state for 7-8 hours, something like that. Then in the end, I feel like this is not the time me to die. There's something like feeling like I should do something more. There's some kind of like love and compassion that there's not really other, but wanting to help, cannot describe it. It's really like the basically not end, so should do something meaningful. And that feeling becomes stronger, stronger, stronger. Then I feel my body. Then begin to hear sounds. And I can hear, then I can slowly open my eyes. So when I open my eyes to look around, then actually the place is next to street, very dirty, a lot of dogs, mosquitoes. Behind there's a broken wall. But when I look there, now the street become like my home. And then the tree in front of me look like so completely different than before. Alive, very lovable, what I call the tree of love. And before that, I have the feeling of this is unsafe, quite danger. I'm outside of the monastery. So, but then after I wake up, the feeling of unsafe is gone. Now, this is my home, kind of like. So then I get up, feel thirsty, and try to, now I can get up, before I cannot get up. So look for the pump, try to drink water. And when I try to reach the pump, I fainted, I think. Completely faint. That time, there's no any awareness, nothing. Then someone took me in the hospital and I woke up in the hospital.
Wow. How long were you in the hospital?
I think 1 day.
Oh.
They give me a lot of, when I woke up, there's a, what do you call it?
IV.
Yeah, IV, and there's a kind of like the water liquid goes. Yeah. And then many people also in the hospital. It's kind of like simple hospital. They all are nearby there. And I thought, where am I? And then they give me a water with a lot of salt and sugar.
Yeah.
I have to drink.
You talked about awareness. Can you talk about pure awareness and what that is?
Yeah, so go back to my father's teaching. So what he said that our fundamental nature is the pure awareness. So awareness beyond subject and object, awareness beyond suffering, awareness beyond concept. So that is the who we are, our fundamental quality of our own mind. So that awareness, love and compassion, and the wisdom are inseparable. But what happens normally, we are not recognized that. When we are not recognized that, then we are fall into the thought, emotion, perception, memory. Then what we have is only a thought, emotion, perception, memory. So basically, we only have cloud. So actually, we lost in the cloud. And we forget, we don't know the sky there. Actually, there is sky. So whole practice of my traditional meditation is to get connected with the sky, our fundamental nature. So for me, during those moments, I almost died. This moment is really beneficial because there's no cloud actually. No sensation in the body. There's no thought talking and all this, but the awareness so present. No time, no front, no back. I'm there and I'm here. So, and that is the not just an idea, not just imagination level. I experienced it, and for 8 hours. So, and what we believe that this wonderful nature, this awareness, everybody has this awareness, no matter who you are, whether you have religion or not, whether you are different part of the world, belong to a different culture, male or female, doesn't matter. Everybody has.
Mm. There has been a lot of talk over the last number of years about people finding their purpose in life. And I wanted to ask you 2 questions about that. The first one is, by bringing it up in this way and people consistently saying, well, you know, you need to find your purpose, does it create undue pressure to find your purpose versus going through your life and allowing your purpose to find you?
Yeah, I mean, if you think your purpose is particular, something special, then I think we cannot find the purpose. 100% purpose is very difficult. Any purpose, there's something good, something bad there. But for me, the main purpose of life is, as you mentioned in the beginning, the quote, from the way of Bodhisattva. So kind, compassion, love is the real purpose, sense of purpose. And that can manifest from different various forms. And maybe you can find purpose that you are, whatever you do in your life, unless if you are not stealing, unless if you are stealing or dealing with the drugs, then cannot find. Otherwise, if you are become like salesperson or waiter or architecture or whatever, actually all this, what we call, we all are interdependent. We all are connect each other. But if we think about our work is helping others, and that is helping you. So really from the heart, when we do this work, that's the purpose, sense of meaning. And your work become like your holiday. And that work helps you, helps others, what we call win-win situation.
Mm. You have a wonderful self-guided course. It's called The Joy of Living. And it's also the name of one of your best-selling books. And on the site, there's a header which says, quote, "Do your emotions fluctuate like the stock market?" Question mark. So I had to laugh when I read that. And I'm wondering, what is some of the wisdom that one might gain while they go through this course?
Yes, so we have this online course, the Joy of Living workshop. And this is a special made in our meditation tradition, what we call experiential style. So this experiential style is we have to practice a little bit. We have to receive teaching and practice and apply in everyday life. So what we call view, meditation, application. So view is cognitive level of understanding. Meditation is to bring into the experience, into the feeling, into the body. Application meaning to apply the problem in your life, transform what we call sufferings, pleasures of your life as support for awareness, love and compassion and wisdom. So when we do that, then what happens? We will connect with our fundamental nature, the real happiness, lasting happiness within us. But then at the same time, we have cloud. So life has full of surprise. Life has a lot of problem. So problem is international, problem is everywhere. But the most important is we can learn from this up and down through awareness, compassion, and wisdom. These up and down become our friend. Up and down become our teacher. Up and down will really help us to grow. So what we call in the end, all this up and down become cause of joy, cause of happiness. So because happiness and suffering doesn't exist on the outside reality, it's on in your mind, it's internal thing. So when you transform inside, whatever comes, what we call adding wood to the fire. So whatever wood, big and wind, strong would add to the fire, fire become bigger.
Can you share a bit how the Buddhist tradition teaches how the mind works?
Yeah, so in the Buddhist tradition, that what we call, it's like science. What Buddha said, don't take my words because I say so. You need to explore and experience by yourself. So that is the fundamental teaching. So how we can experience the reality? Facing mind outward, you cannot really get the real answer. So face inward. So how to face inward? Through awareness, love and compassion and wisdom. So they are gates of wisdom. So through the sensation, one gate. Through the feeling, another gate. Through the concept, another gate. So there are three gates. And through that gates, we can just experience the body as body first, feeling as feeling, thought as thought, emotion as emotion. And when we do that, then what do we see? There are so many pieces, what we call multiplicity, and they are connecting with each other, what we call interdependent. And they're changing and changing and changing, impermanence. That's the truth. By seeing that, what happened? We have become more free, more happy, more liberal. And the cause of suffering is what we call ignorance, craving, and aversion. And these will transform into love, compassion, wisdom, awareness. Then in the end, what we see? Emptiness, beyond concept. But emptiness is not nothing. Beyond, yet, there is awareness, love and compassion, wisdom. So union of emptiness and love and compassion. Union of emptiness, awareness. Union of emptiness and wisdom.
You have another online course workshop that I wanted to mention, and it's a teaching for the modern world. We mentioned it earlier, the way of the Bodhisattva. The course is especially timely, I think, given the challenges we are facing in our lives these days. And, can you talk a little bit about what we might learn taking that course or workshop?
Yeah, this is the ancient text more than 1,000 years ago. The Shantideva, he taught in India, and we translate that into Tibetan. And this is for me the one of most influence for my practice, really benefit for my life. So in that text, what we call the first important is our sense of purpose. Like as you asked me question, what is the purpose of life? So we need to find that purpose which is connected with the love, compassion. And we expand that love and compassion to all beings. So that is what we call Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta meaning the enlightened motivation. Then the actual practice, there are 6 things. The first is generosity. Giving is receiving. So it helps for win-win situation. Second is the moral ethic. So ethic is very important. Then in the middle, another 2 is really important. Whatever we do for the physical, for the spiritual practice, mundane life, what we call patience and effort. So patience, whatever we do, we have to be patient. Our life is up and down, like stock market. We have to accept that. It's patient. And life is full of unexpected surprise. We have to accept that. We have to be ready for that. That is patient. But second is what we call effort. Don't give up. So we have full of potential. We have full of goodness within us. All the potential, awareness, love and compassion, wisdom, capacity, power that with us. Once we continued forward, obstacle become opportunity. Problem becomes solution. There is no such eternal problem or obstacle, basically. So don't give up. Persistent. Effort. But patient. Let it go. Accept. So these 2 very important for spiritual life or mundane life. And the end 2, very important, is concentration, the samadhi, awareness, the samadhi, and the wisdom. Wisdom is everything. So these we'll discuss about in this text.
Many people desire to have a regular meditation practice, but many find it difficult to do such a thing on a regular basis. What sort of wisdom can you share to someone about that?
So what we call, there are 5 aggregates. The first is the matter. The another 4 is the mind. So mind has 4 aspects. The first is the feeling. Second is the concept. Third is the habitual, the subconscious mind. And the last is consciousness. All these first 3 infuse the stream of the mind called consciousness. So we need to think about this middle 3, the feeling, concept, and habit. So first we have to start with the concept level. Oh, meditation is good. I understand how to meditate. I like, to learn. So to know about the conceptual level, very important. Second, practice a little bit, get some experience. Then the problem everybody start is the third one, the habit, the unconscious mind. So that is, we need to develop another habit. Repeat again. But if you do too much at the beginning, you cannot continue. So you have to be promised maybe just a little bit first, maybe 5 minutes of meditation for every day. And you cannot promise too long. From now on, the rest of my life, you cannot do again. So just think about 30 days, what we call 21, to 30 days, thinking that only this 30 days, I will do 5 minutes per day, whether I like or don't like, I will do that. So if you survive, end of the day 30, then the habit begins. Then after that, it becomes more easy. Then you will build up the habit of meditation after that.
Would you mind, and I humbly ask you this, would you mind taking us through a brief meditation?
Yes. So as I mentioned, we all have this awareness, love and compassion and wisdom. So when we begin to meditate, we need to connect with awareness. So what is awareness? Awareness is our mind, the consciousness, mind, awareness, same thing. So it's knowing. So can you see my hand? Yes, of course. That is the awareness. Awareness knows what we are thinking, feeling, doing, remembering. All this is awareness. But the problem is normally we are not connect with the awareness. So in order to connect with the awareness, we can use one object. So we will use the breath. So are you breathing right now?
Yes.
That is the breathing meditation. Finished now. So as I mentioned, the essence of meditation is the awareness. So when I ask you, are you breathing? Yes. In that moment, awareness is on your breath. That's all. Very easy, actually. Be with the breath. So mind and the breath together. We cannot be together too long. Just